Okay. For being the head cat herder, we're right on time today. So we'll bring it back out of recess. And I'd like to go to County Council on the discussion on the landfill closure account.
Well, as I indicated earlier, there is a pledge of revenue agreement that requires the county to pledge a certain amount of revenue for post-closure maintenance and for corrective action. And those amounts are set forth in the agreement. And this is on an annual basis.
Okay. Can I ask for a little expansion on that? What dollars amounts or what sections of the agreement?
For post-closure maintenance, the agreement references $100,000, and the amount of pledge revenue for corrective action is $186,250.
So that'd be 286, 250 total.
Well, it's 100 and 366.
Okay. So as long as we achieve that commitment, there might be extra dollars there available.
Well, I would say no, because you have to, and we can allow, Howard can speak to that, but I think the remaining portion of the funds needs to be put into the fund for the closure of South Coast landfill.
Okay, so the 286 is just for the maintenance, et cetera. The remainder is your opinion for the closure amount. Okay. Supervisor Delbar.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So the 286 that we are committed to, there are two separate amounts there: 100,000 for post-closure maintenance and 186,000 for the corrective action. We have a total of 580,000 going into this. 200 of that is up above. Does that 200 cover one or both of those, partially both of those commitments?
Mr. Chair, ladies and gentlemen of the board, Howard DeShield, Director of Transportation. The 4511 landfill closure fund has been accumulating money in anticipation of two large, complete closure projects at Laytonville and at South Coast. In addition to that, 4511 does ongoing maintenance with all our closed landfills, most of which are very quiet, with the exception of Casper, that still has quite a bit of activity, maintenance activity associated with it. At the present time, we haven't accumulated enough. We tend to spend more some years, usually the wet years. There are more issues with leachate in the wet years. There's more issues around vapor sometimes on the very wet years. So in any given year, you could look at this and say, yes, we're collecting more money than we need just looking at our expenses that year. But this is all in anticipation of two large projects, one at Laytonville and one at South Coast, that we haven't accumulated enough money to do the full closure for yet by current estimates.
Laytonville's closed.
It's closed, John.
It's been capped and everything.
Well, it's been capped, but in the short time I've been the director, I've done two major repairs on the cap. There is a report that was done, submitted to the regional board in 2003, which calls for some additional cap fill. Paul probably remembers better than I think. It's another 2 or 3 feet. We've got a Band-Aid at Laytonville, and I might add a Band-Aid that while we've never had a discharge, we've had slides and failures on the cap. Never a discharge of solid waste, I want to make that clear, or a pollutant being discharged, but it is not finished yet. Same thing with South Coast. Yeah, we've got a cap on it. It was a measure to just get us by, but the full closure plan has not been implemented at either of those two sites.
Okay, back to Supervisor Delbar.
I guess, Mr. DeShield, I'm still looking for maybe a little more specific of an answer